From here, or should I come? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. Is it pressed? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hello? It should be red. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, good day. My name is Job Mkunu. I'm in my capacity as a member of SAFA NEC. I welcome you all at SAFA House, and I could feel the joy when people are in SAFA House. You're welcome. Special acknowledgement to our coach, Mr. Dean, as our partner from Sasol, all media houses, and ladies and gentlemen. If I didn't mention you, please pardon me, it's not deliberate. We are gathered here, as you all know, that it's a special day for our Banyana Banyana team, where we're going to be announcing the squad today. But mine is to welcome you, and on behalf of the President, the NEC, the CEO, and all members of SAFA, we are saying we're fully behind our coach, we're fully behind our team, and we want to urge our media as well to support us in making sure that in the 2 matches that we're going to be taking part on, particularly the second game, we're urging our public to come and give support, because these heroines can only become what they are because of our support. And we don't forget the fact that they coming into this tournament as defending champions, and we want to retain the trophy in the country, and we can all do that if we unite as a nation. I thank you, and I thank you all.
Thank you very much with those words and clears. And now we head over to our partners, Mr. Somerset.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the media, and our distinguished SAFA colleagues, greetings to you all. We are gathered here with a sense of pride and anticipation to once again celebrate the remarkable individuals who will represent Sasol Banyana Banyana in the upcoming WAFCON qualifying games. Please allow me to convey Sasol's hearty congratulations to everyone who will be selected today, as the coach will announce those players. To the athletes in absentia, your commitment to the sport and unwavering passion serves as a beacon of inspiration to aspiring athletes, not only within our borders of South Africa, but also across the globe, as we have seen during the recently held FIFA Women's World Cup. Your journey has been marked by challenges, sacrifices, and countless hours of hard work and training, yet through it all, you've remained steadfast in your pursuit of excellence. The team's performance in the past games has been impressive, a testament to the immense talent that resides within this group of players. You have proven time and time again that you are among the finest football teams in South Africa and Africa that continues to push boundaries, reminding many of us that it's possible, it is doable, as well as achievable. And because this is the team that lives the impossible no matter what. Please know that the almost 30,000 Sasol employees and the entire country stands firmly behind you, ready to rally, cheer and celebrate every step of the way. Your success is not just a personal triumph, it is a source of pride for every South African who takes joy in the accomplishments of this nation. I would also like to take a moment to express our gratitude to Coach Des and the entire technical team. Your unwavering dedication and constant devotion to these players are nothing short of being admired. Your guidance and leadership have played an instrumental role in bringing the team to this point of success. As you continue to push and encourage these talented individuals, may you empower them to reach new heights and achieve what we may perceive as impossible. In conclusion, good luck in the upcoming games against Burkina Faso. We know it is important for us to make it through to next year's WAFCON as the current title holders, and may your current journey be marked by unity, resilience, and the sweet taste of victory. And to the team, please go out there and make the entire nation proud as you've done before. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Over to you, Coach. There's nothing more can add to that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to first of all congratulate Sundowns once again for winning the CAF Champions League and bringing the trophy home. It was a magnificent performance out in Ivory Coast, and had us all sitting, watching, and applauding from the side. So congratulations to Coach Jerry, his technical team, support staff, and of course the players and the whole Mamelodi Sundowns family. I'd like to acknowledge Coach Palacios. Not many of you know that he was my coach for when I played at Banyana, 1998. At the 2000, it was called ACON back then. He had to withdraw because he was also coaching the under-20s, but he went with us to the USA, and we're still in contact, as you can see, the support that is given. I'd like to go back to our last game. We had a lot of challenges with players being injured, players having visa issues, players having exams. It was a challenging camp. It was challenging in terms of putting personnel together that was ready to take up the mantle. And I think if I look back, I think the players were absolutely amazing. Put their bodies on the line, made sure that we go through to the next round. But it's all about the WAFCON. You cannot go and defend the title if you don't get past the stage. So it's imperative that we get past the stage. We last played Burkina Faso in 2017. I was still the acting coach back then. We beat them 4-0 in Dobsonville. We know of Burkina Faso. They played Olympic qualifiers against Mali and lost on aggregate. The first round of the WAFCON qualifier, they played against Eswatini and won those two games on aggregate. So we know a little bit about them. And obviously now we're getting ready to play them in the final qualifier for WAFCON. We currently have a few players not available, of course. We all know Banyana is still recovering from an injury. Banyana is just back in training. Thalia Smith, not really yet. Ongeka's not available, picked up an injury. Siboleli is still not available, also picked up an injury. Numbula has just come back. Sinotolo, unfortunately, is not available as well. University has said if she misses any more classes, she won't get a degree. Let me see if I've got everyone. So those are some of the players that are not available, and I can go straight into the squad.
Mr. Chair, are we good to go? Perfect. Okay, go ahead.
Goalkeepers, Andili Dlamini, Mamelodi Sundowns. Kaylen Swart, JVWFC. Katleha Mulatsani, Royal AM. Defenders, Karabo Dlamini, Mamelodi Sundowns. Fikili Magama, UWC. Faith Owosu, Blackburn Rovers. Janine van Wyk, JVWFC. Lebogang Ramalepi, Mamelodi Sundowns. Lunatemba Mhlongo, UWC. Noko Matlo, SDI Bar. Asanda Khadebe, Sunflower. Midfielders, Linda Motlalo, Glasgow City. Kolosa Biyana, Mamelodi Sundowns. Spumalele Shamase, UJ. Amokolang Mutau, UWC. Tubelikle Shamase, UJ. Forwards, Nicole Michael, TS Galaxy. Gabriela Salgado, JVWFC. Sankulisiwe Salana, TS Galaxy. Jermaine Sia Pusenwe, CF Monterrey. Motolo Tesane, UWC. Wendy Shongwe, University of Pretoria. Hilda Magaya, Sejong Sports Soso. Tembi Khatlana, Racing Louisville. And as you can see, there's 24, but only 23 will travel.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you have questions that you want to ask from the coach. Feel free to ask those questions. But before you ask your question, please introduce yourself as well as the media house that you're coming from. Thanks. Oh, wow, okay. So you guys are sorted.
Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, colleagues. My name is Yang Asipende, and I'm from the Daily Maverick. I just wanted, obviously, to find out. You mentioned Jerin van Beek, she's here. What are the chances of her actually getting the 2 caps that she needs to break this record that she's so desperately after, before she retires in these 2 games, especially considering obviously how important they are as well, and the fact that she hasn't been part of the team setup, or before the World Cup qualifiers, she hadn't been part of the team setup for a couple of months as well.
Look, we will do our utmost best to get her those 2 caps. It's not just a record for her, but I think it's a record for women's football in the country. It's a record for SAFA, and a record for women's football on the continent. And here she was in the previous camp, and I was asked the question by the media, is there another opportunity? And I said, Burkina Faso, and here is the opportunity.
Coach, this is Mazwala from SABC Sport. Not to drag the Janine saga too long, but obviously in the manner that she had left the camp, the previous camp, and obviously going on social media as well, how have you handled that situation? Because I'm assuming the fact that she's here, there has been conversations that took place.
Well, with SAFA as well, it has been dealt with, and we leave it at that.
Okay. Any more questions?
Chair. Joseph from Sports. Coach, good team, but just take us through the challenges of having to replace your regulars. I mean, with some of the new players within the squad, and looking at what you have here. I mean, you've got a ball of mixed emotions, because some of your regulars have done so well with the Sundown squad. I mean, Kolosa has got some mileage on her legs, Ramalipe had some mileage as well, but then you find on the flip side, Mbani is not there, Novula is not there, the people that you've gone this route with. How much of a setback is that? Is it a bit of a, sweet sour moment?
Look, we've always spoken about having a core group of players, and nothing was more evident than this last game that we played. We really had to dig deep in taking from the core because of all the players that were not available. We've been playing without Banyana Banyana since during the World Cup. And I think the players that have been there, the likes of Lona Timber's been there well. Desitz was another one that's injured, by the way. And we've been playing without these players, and the Shamasi twins is in part of our squad since last year. Nicole also was part of our squad since last year. Simply Siwe, we knew of her. She was part of the Kusafa Cup squad. So it's not players that are coming in completely new. It's players that have been taught, that have played had some game time, that are coming in that were not available for the previous Olympic qualifiers. And we believe in each and every one player that we select, because, like I said, we have a core group. When we are selecting, we look at that core group, and we look at who we're playing against and which players are going to make an impact against the opponents that we played. So I'm really confident and happy with the squad that we've selected, and I believe in trusting each and every one of them.
All right, any more questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Coach. We're from Newsroom Africa. I know you touched on a bit earlier on regarding Sundowns ladies and their triumph in the CAF Women's Champions League. How easy does it make it for you when it comes to this part of sort of trying to select a group of players, when you sort of have a team like Sundowns like that is performing well, especially at continental level, and when you are playing against a team from the continent?
Let me be honest with you, selections are never easy. It's becoming more difficult and more difficult, with players raising their hands all the time, and we have to get the mix right, we have to get the combinations right, we have to get all of that right, and it's not easy to select. there are so many out there, and if I ask each and every one of you to select, you won't have the same squad. So can you imagine how difficult it is for me as the coach to select? So it becomes more difficult. It's not as easy as you think it is. Yes, they've gone out and played there, and that bodes well for the national team going forward, because we're always saying that, you know, clubs must do well on the continent, clubs must conquer the continent, because it gives you that experience of playing at continental level and makes it so much easier. But many of those players that are part of the national team that are with the Mamelodi Sundowns have been to 1 or 2 WAFCONs, have played in Olympic Games, have been to World Cups. So the experience that they get out of everything is good for the country. But you're rightfully, when you say continental, you know, experience is really important, because playing in Africa is a whole new ball game. You know, everybody that goes into Africa experience different things, and I think the experience of playing in Africa will hold us in good stead.
And just to follow up on one of the players in Andile Dlamini, one of the things that did come out when we were having a press conference at Oratambo with the team was just how much, seeing her so confident in how she's playing, going on, you know, grabbing that goalkeeper of the tournament accolade. One part that came out is just how much this has sort of like helped in overcoming sort of what was slightly a disappointment from sort of the World Cup. How happy were you with her in terms of her performance there?
Look, I'm blessed that we have 2 quality goalkeepers. There's not many countries that can have 2 very good goalkeepers, you know, and I'm blessed about that. I'm excited for getting the goalkeeper of the tournament as well, because that is what players strive for, to do well and get individual honours and being confident in what they do, and that only bodes well for us as a national team to have 2 quality goalkeepers like that.
Coach, Ihlale Baleka from the Star newspaper. Coach, the first leg would be played in Ivory Coast, and some of Sundowns players were part and parcel of the team that won the Champions League in Korogo. But most importantly, Coach, do you think playing away firstly ahead of the second leg, will that be an advantage for the national team?
Look, it can work either way. Playing at home, it's a lot of pleasure, especially in the first leg. And this time around, it's away goals that count. But we're confident that we can get result in both games. It's a difficult travel, but as you said, we're not going to the same place in Ivory Coast. It's a completely different place. But just being in the country, obviously, you know, that already will come back and give us some information, sit and discuss what it's like, what the weather's like, what everything else is like, and that will really help, because they have first-hand experience. I haven't spoken to Coach Jerry since she got back, but I've been in contact with him before. I have a conversation with him as well to find out, you know, what the situation is like, what the weather's like, what everything else is like. But we're playing in a total different part of the country. But you're right, that experience is invaluable.
Masumala Marake from centercircle.online. I don't know who this question is for, but on the Janine matter, is there a plan in place to honor her afterwards, or is it just going to be 2 caps and we're done with it? And to the coach, this last match of the year for Banyana Banyana, how important is it to go to the bank, bearing in mind that we still have qualifiers early next year?
I'll answer the second question. It's very important that we keep the momentum going. It's not just any match, it's a final qualifier for WAFCON, and as I said before, you are the defending champions, and if you don't win this game, you won't be at the tournament. So we have to make sure that we do well, especially in the first game, to take the pleasure of playing at home, because we all know the pleasures of playing at home. You know how difficult it can be for players. But we'll make sure we've got enough information on Burkina Faso. We've already got an analysis on them that's been shared, you know, so we know exactly what we need to do, but it's executing the game plan and making sure that we get a positive result in that first game, because that's really important, getting a positive result in that game to take the pressure of coming at home, because coming at home, you'll have the fans in the stadium, and I must say the fans were magnificent the last time we played. It was 0-0, and you know, they really started singing and motivating the players, and we ask for that again to happen when we play at home.
All right, folks, to answer your first question, Yes, there's some plans in the works, but we'll communicate the details in due course. So yeah, you covered. Right. Coach, in the past obviously spoken about how the Super League needs to improve, professionalized, and that with it wrapping up soon and the margins at the top not as big as they've been in previous seasons. Of course, the bulk of your squad is players in the Super League. Just your thoughts on what you've seen so far, and obviously has that contributed in the headaches that you're having in your selection criteria?
Look, we always said that the first year there was room for improvement, the second year got better, it's gotten better. As you said, the results are much closer. I think over the last couple of weeks, I think playing Saturday, Wednesday takes a toll on players, and you could see it taking its toll on some of the teams. And you have to have a bigger squad. You have to have a squad with depth to be able to run the race. And it looks like Mamelodi Sundowns, in the count seat again, because with all due respect, they have a quality, a group of players with depth. But I think all the other teams, if you look at all the other teams, they've put in a lot of work. You look at Richmond, 1 minute fighting relegation, the next minute right up there. You look at TS Galaxy coming in, you look at Tuks coming in, and they haven't felt out, they looked out of place in any way. I think especially the university teams have a lot of resources, and it shows with the resources that they have, but it also shows with the other teams that they don't have the resources, like I said, like Richmond, like JBW, that's fighting up there to get the best position they can get. But I think it's improving every year, but I also think it can get better. And being able to see games on TV on a more regular basis, because you can't have eyes everywhere, and the people that you work with don't have eyes everywhere. It actually helps to be able to, watch a game yesterday and then watch a game later today possibly, and then watch a couple of games over the weekend, even though you might be at one game and be able to watch another game over the weekend, and that really helps. But I think, we need to have more games covered, whether it's live streaming or not, for us to be able to get footage, for us to be able to, because sometimes you're not able to watch any games. And I don't want to miss out on any player, I don't want to miss out on any individual, and that is why you sometimes find me at tournaments that nobody thinks I should be at, but that is where you find that one gem. And I want to make sure that I don't miss out on anything, but I think all of us can do better. I think the media can also cover more, stories. I think storytelling is very, very important. When people see me, they say, "Oh, you're so short," or "Oh," I said, "Where do you come from?" "Oh," or they think that's who I am. That's not who I am. But I come from a background that's similar to everyone that sits here. So telling more stories also helps the players in the league. Telling more stories also helps the clubs in the league, because you hear of certain clubs, but you know how they were established, you know how they started. You know of Tisetso, for example. Does anyone know who Tisetso is? Does anyone know where she comes from? Does anyone know where she started? So to the media, there's a challenge for you to start telling more stories, so people know Banyana is not just a football player, but where does she come from, etc., etc.
Coach, looking at this team from the DR Congo match, a lot of youngsters coming in, your Lona Tembas, your Asanda, your Nicole. Is this the way forward, seeing that you planning for the 4-year period leading to the next World Cup, or there is still a chance for those that are out to come back? And maybe to suffer, let's talk about, or confirmation rather, that Janine will be honored. Is there ever a time we will see if Nombumello Nyandeni will also be honored?
I can answer that one for you. I've been in conversation with Mpumi. There is definitely an opportunity. We've had conversations, so as I said before, Janine was the first one that reached out to say she's retiring. No one else has reached out. Mpumi is the second one that's reached out. And we've had conversations, so there's definitely something in the pipeline, so I can confidently say that I'm busy with that, yeah. The other one with the players coming in, Look, you can never discard experience, but experience is only experience if it still adds value. If it doesn't add value anymore, then experience doesn't mean anything. But you're rightfully, when you say you're also looking long term, we have to make sure that players are ready. We have to make sure that we prepare the next generation of players. And we have to make sure also that by the time the 2024 WAFCON comes along, that most of those players are there, because the 2026 one doubles up as a World Cup qualifier. And if they haven't had the experience of playing there, they might not be ready. But you cannot discard the experience that you have. And if they still add value, then you cannot overlook them.
You've answered part of my question there. Coach, how much of assistance is it to have a team like Sundowns continuously competing in the continental space, knowing very well that you've got a group of a whole lot of players rather from South Africa, barring within their team the two players from Botswana, Lesotho that they have within the squad. How much of assistance is it to have all the players that gain experience continentally, and is it coming with a headache to you knowing that a whole lot of players are raising their hands looking at the continental experience that they have?
I think I've answered that question earlier, asking about the experience of them playing in the continental space. A lot of them have also played at World Cups, have played at during Olympic Games, etc. So added to all that experience, it's not something you can buy, but it is invaluable. But you rightfully say, when going into Africa is a whole new ball game, as I said earlier, and playing on the continent, it gives you that experience. We always talk about our teams trying to do well on the continent because it says that argues well for the national team. And I remember when Mamelodi Sundowns won the CAF Champions League in 2021, there were people that said there's no way that Banyana cannot win WAFCON.
Banyana from Banyana Banyana coach. Just on, obviously, my colleagues have mentioned the importance of a mix of youth and experience, but just to take you back to the World Cup qualifiers where Nicole and Wendy Shong did quite well as young players in both matches. How important, and I know obviously as coaches you don't like to single out individuals, but just how impressed were you with those two players, especially because they seem to be the future of the team?
As I said earlier, Wendy Shongwe was part of our team since before the World Cup. Nicole was also part of our team since before the World Cup. And you're right, I don't like to single out players, but when players show us something on training, then we've got to give them the opportunity. Then they have got to grab that opportunity. And like Nicole did, not just in the game at home, but the game away as well. But I thought, when I looked at our defense, I mean, we had a defense that was playing together for the first time, and some were playing out of position. You had Fikile Magama, who was early 20s. You had Luna Temba, who was playing her first top game in that position at Karab, who's never played there for the national team, but I know she's played in a back three at Mamelodi Sundowns, but also at the university she's played as a centre back. And then you had the unfamiliar Wendy playing at left back, and a lot of questions, but we needed somebody that was physical, we needed somebody that had strength and had pace, because we were playing against a team that had that as well. And I thought for a group of players, all under 22 playing together for the first time, I thought they were magnificent, because it depended on us not conceding, and they did really well, but so did the rest of the players, So I wouldn't like to single out, but when you get given an opportunity, it's then not up to me, it's then up to you to grab that opportunity to make sure and say, listen, I'm here too, don't forget about me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, appreciate that. Before we close, allow me to acknowledge some of the people who work in this building who are here in attendance supporting this press conference.